Hello, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. It's a wonderful misty morning in the Lake District, and today I'm going to record a bonsai inspiration video, and I thought I'd start off with this wonderful yew tree. Look at that trunk. Looking at this tree as inspiration for bonsai, it's got a wonderful nabari that spreads out. It's got a nice low branch, but it's got beautiful twisting character to the trunk. And what's interesting is it's got some inverse taper. This often happens in nature, and I just think it's a really interesting experience to come out and sort of study this kind of tree. This woodland is primarily an oak woodland. They've dropped the leaves now. It's the end of November, and I thought it would be interesting to take a look at the structure of oak trees in a pretty old oak forest. There's a whole range of different size trees, but if you look at these behind me, look how little taper these trunks have. They've generally got these lovely flaring root bases going into a nice radial root spread, and they're covered up to the first couple of metres in this beautiful moss. They're just gorgeous. One of the really interesting things I've noticed is the sheer number of oak seedlings. These must all have germinated last year. They all look a year old, and they're absolutely everywhere. They're sort of every foot more. Sometimes there's like 10 in a square foot, and this is over acres and acres, which is great to see. It must have been a perfect year last year for the germination of oaks. How about this for a tree? Woo, lovely. That's got fantastic taper going up, a nice early branch, and it's a classic example of the sort of multi-trunk oak. Gorgeous. Here's a really interesting tree, and what's interesting is all these lower dead branches. We think of deadwood generally to do with coniferous material, but look at all these wonderful dead branches. All, for some reason, the bottom's all died, and then all the life in the tree is up at the top. So I'd like to recreate something like this. I think it's wonderful. There are quite a few trees that have fallen over. We had some really big winds. I think it was last year or the year before, and quite a lot of trees went down in the UK, and they've toppled over. Oaks like this won't live, I don't think, I'm pretty sure, but just nice to see them slowly decaying away, making space for new life. At this time of year, we've got the wonderful ferns. In the right light, they cast a beautiful, delicate silhouette against the sky, but they've also got some wonderful, deep, rich orange colours. If I see any nice compositions, I will be taking some photographs. And this is the first one that I quite like. A couple of people have asked me about my photography, and the compositional rules in many ways are similar to sort of bonsai. We've got the main tree here, which is kind of not quite on the third. We've got a nice balance of separated trees, a bit like we separate branches when we're doing bonsai, and that's the kind of order that I look for in a nice image. It's not a coincidence, this tree is dead and it's got all the bark removed at the bottom. And we don't have bears in the UK. I think we used to, but I wonder if this is deer. There are a lot of deer around here, so that could be the case, and they've rubbed the bark off and so the tree's died. I stumbled across a little pond, and I just had to get this shot of the reflections and the lovely grasses. Beautiful. I love complex scenes like this, the sort of semi-submerged trees and the reflections. Lovely. Out of nowhere, we've got this gorgeous spruce that's just kind of clump style appeared from nowhere. We've got a bit of light appearing now, and I think this scene might light up, literally. So let's get a shot of it. If anyone's wondering why I like to come wandering around in the mist, it's because of this. When that sun comes through and the trunks with the soft mist behind them, they illuminate, whoa, it's just absolutely magic being out. Set that alarm, keep your eye on the weather and treat yourself. I love it. How's that multi-trunk sort of clump style tree for a bit of bonsai inspiration? Gorgeous. I had to stop at this yew. Look at that, gorgeous trunk with a light on it and all these dead branches at the bottom. Very much like we tried to create in bonsai. I've got a really nice yew actually. I collected it in the spring and it's grown really healthily. It's got an amazing flare and I'm looking to create something similar to this with it. It's probably the project or the tree that I'm most excited about working on. It's a very straight trunk, there's no real twisting, but I love this. Look at the little fern just growing out of some dead wood. And you can see where the tree's healing over around bits that have died off. In this light, that's just gorgeous. Before we take a look at this wonderful hollow trunk that I found, I just wanted to talk a little bit about presence in the landscape. And to me, coming out, walking in the woods like this, whether you're taking photographs or not, it's the same joy as the joy of bonsai. It's forgetting about China and gas prices and everything like that. I mean, to be honest, I don't really worry about that stuff anyway, but I know a lot of people do, you know, and it's just nice to be able to come out, leave all that stuff behind and just experience nature. You know, look at the trees, look at the moss, look at the rocks, and makes your life a lot better. It's like a recharge of the batteries. So if you're not able to get out and do this kind of thing, I'm glad to be able to at least share this experience with you, and hopefully you can, you know, you've made yourself a nice cup of peppermint tea and you're just enjoying this scenery. So let's take a look at this tree now. What's happened here is a branch has torn off and it's stripped about a third of the tree off, and it's now rolling over and callousing, and this stuff in the centre is dying and rotting away. Beautiful, and a great example for the kind of thing we can mimic in our bonsai. This up here is where the branch ripped off. It's about 15 to 20 foot in the air and it's just come all the way down. Well, thank you for joining me today. I've really enjoyed sharing this experience with you. Sort of my passion for photography and obviously, as you know, my passion for bonsai, they fit together really well. And to kind of share this experience, this is sort of the joy of YouTube for me. So thanks for joining me as always. You have a great day. I'll see you soon.